Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Jennifer for the Median, and today we are driving the all-new, brand new, ground up, all-new car, third generation Genesis G80. The G80 doesn't underpin any other corporate cousin product. Nothing from Hyundai, nothing from Kia. It's all new for this. And it's a stronger chassis. The body panels, the roof, everything in this car is meant to be stronger for better torsional rigidity, to make it quieter inside, to make it ride better, and they did a pretty good job. Let's talk about the looks. It's a nice looking car. This is basically the mama bear of the Genesis Sedan lineup. The baby bear would be the G70, the papa bear would be the G90, and this sort of splits the difference right there in the middle in terms of size and athletic poise. It's for a brand that's really only been a brand since 2015. They really do have a strong brand identity. In the G80, you get a couple choices for powertrain. You can have the base engine, which is a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4 that's good for 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Then there's this one, the 3.5 liter turbocharged V6, good for 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. Now, either engine can be had with either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. This is the all-wheel drive version of the G80. No matter which engine you get, no matter rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, no matter which one, you're going to get an 8-speed automatic transmission. There are paddle shifters. Whatever. The G80 is loaded to the gills with safety features. It's got it all. Blind spot, front cameras, rear cameras. And you can actually use the front camera when you're parking, which is kind of cool. You hit the little camera button down here and it'll pull up on this beautiful screen. But it's got all of that stuff: front collision avoidance, rear cross traffic, rear collision avoidance, you know, lane keep assist, all sorts of stuff. It's also got, for the first time, radar cruise control with artificial intelligence. Apparently, according to Genesis, it is meant to learn your driving style and then assist you. I do want to touch on one more safety item. There's like 150 airbags in this car. Okay, it's like 10. But for the first time, there's actually one between the driver and the front passenger to make sure you don't like smack into each other if you have a side impact. The Genesis does have auto stop start technology. Fortunately, there's a nice little button right down here to turn that off, if that is your preference. There are two beautiful screens. There's a 12.3-inch instrument panel screen here that actually has 3D technology, which I kind of like. It shows like a different depth of field for the information. So the information I have in the middle, my accumulated driving info or drive information, and I can change the contents of that with the little wheel here or going through here, are sort of elevated above the speedometer on the left and the tach on the right. There are actually two sensors down here that are always watching you. Wants to know if you're awake when you're driving, you fall asleep on the wheel, it'll give you a little warning, and to watch your eyes where they're going. There's a heads-up display. This one's really good, and these instruments are really nice. So this line of sight here works really well in the G80. Then there's this baby, 14.5-inch beautiful display. It's right in your line of sight, and it's just perfectly laid out with your head-up display and this screen. So nice. It's a little too far away. This infotainment screen is a touch screen, and I'm rather tall, and reaching over here is sort of a stretch. We are in a car that has adjustable suspension. I can change drive modes. I'm in comfort. I'll switch that to sport, and it downshifts. The seats grab me a little bit more. Even if you're in comfort and you start driving a little more spiritedly, the car knows that, so it'll hug you a little bit and let you know it cares, and it's going to take care of you. And shifts are quicker. The suspension tightens up. The steering's a little heavier. But this car's really meant for comfort mode. And I will say, comfort ride's nice, but it's a little bit bouncy. Something else that the G80 does is it has a system called Road Preview on the adjustable electric suspension, where it will use the front camera to read the road that's coming up and preset the suspension to react to the road. That's kind of cool. So, there is this wheel. And for me, personally, it ruins the car. If you remember when the iPod first came out, you could spin right and go one way through your thing, spin left and go back the other way, and you could like press on the big button. That's like this. The interesting thing about the wheel you spin is if you push down, it reacts differently. So one single wheel has two different interactions. To get the wheel moving takes some pressure. Sometimes the pressure required to start that wheel spinning is too much, and you might be spinning the wheel to go to the right. You're push left when you want to go right, and so it does something differently to interact with this screen. That has honestly driven me absolutely insane, and it has ruined what is otherwise an incredibly comfortable, nice experience in this car. It is quiet. This new chassis, this new body, there's little flex. It's sealed. There's acoustic glass around here in the front and then the front side windows. This particular G80 is spec'd with a Lexicon audio system that is fan-freaking-tastic. But to interact with it, it just sucks. It's horrible. Okay, so there are other ways to interact with the infotainment. You can talk to it, you can use the touchscreen, but you got to kind of stretch for it. But this wheel, it's such a big wheel that you could just have different surfaces do different things and that would fix the whole thing. Then there's the controls for the HVAC, which are done quite well. There's a nice strip right here. It's only HVAC. It shows you a picture of where air is blowing and what's doing what. Heated seats are standard. Vented seats and heated steering wheel are optional. This car has them. They work really well. There's wireless charging down here that actually is ventilated to keep your phone cool. You can also set the atmosphere inside the G80 as far as lighting goes. The ambient lighting can be changed in the settings. Then there's something really interesting that I still can't figure out why you would actually have a feature like this in the car. Scroll through my home screen here, and there's something called Sounds of Nature. This is a lively forest. Calm sea waves. Or an open air cafe. Hot cocoa, please. It's interesting that you would have something like that. There's really a lot of good in this car. If it wasn't for this dial that reacts with the infotainment, I would absolutely love this car. You know, matte wood. The design on the inside is so pretty. These thin, slimline vents. All the surfaces are actually nice to interact with, nice to touch. You got this cool panoramic roof that when you open the shade, it actually parts from the middle. It's so roomy in here. When you're sitting in the back, you can move this seat fore and aft with these buttons right here. It's so well thought out that this knob thing flabbergasts me. Maybe if I owned one and drove it every day, I would eventually find that it's better than I think, but I've driven the car for a few hundred miles over a week, especially when you're driving and trying to look for something on this screen and you want to go one direction, it does the other because I pushed just a little bit too hard. It's maddening. It really is. So go drive it. If you're in the market for a comfortable luxury family vehicle, Genesis is killing it. This car, with everything on it, the window sticker was $68,000. 68, fully loaded. I know the Genesis name doesn't have the cachet in the market of an Audi or a BMW or a Mercedes, but are you really worried about that name? Or do you want to save $20,000 or $30,000 over something that is directly competitive in this market set and have something that looks stately and elegant and might be confused for a Bentley, and know that you've got a better warranty? This G80 is definitely worth a look. If you can get past that dial, more power to you.